Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update this channel daily. If you love this watch, I don't blame you. You can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. A few months ago, I did a versus comparison of an F. Journe Chronomètre Bleu and a Laurent Ferrier Galet Micro-Rotor, and if this had been the Laurent Ferrier entrant, that would have been an LF victory by a lap. This is the sensational Laurent Ferrier Galet Micro-Rotor Montre Ecole British Racing Green for 2018, a watch launched in conjunction with Laurent Ferrier's participation in London Craft Week. It's a 40mm stainless steel celebration of British racing heritage and Geneva watchmaking. On my 16cm circumference wrist, you can see that it's an easy watch to wear, 40mm but quite slim. It's a timepiece that measures only 11.3mm thick but wears even slimmer thanks to the domed profile of the bassinet style Montre Ecole case, as well as the domed sapphire. Lug-to-lug, it's not a huge watch. It's 47mm, which means I can recommend this timepiece for a wrist as small as 13.5cm circumference. This is definitely one you can wear if you are slighter of wrist. The lugs arc down nicely, and the strap has no constraint in its motion. It is a Napa leather strap in brown, and as you can see, it's of bonded construction, so there's no stitching to break it up. It's thick cut with the profile showing the layers of construction, and on the underside you have a wonderful suede Alcantara-like texture, and it is designed to evoke, along with the British Racing Green dial, motorsports, most specifically traditional mid-20th century 1940s to 1970s motorsports, when British Racing Green was well represented on the tracks around the world, especially at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and oftentimes even sports racing cars would have interiors trimmed out in traditional leather. It is a very supple strap, and it's paired with a stylized and Laurent Ferrier specific, Laurent Ferrier branded pin buckle, satin on the underside, stylized on the outside. This is the kind of attention to detail that I adore. There's even a recession for the pin buckle. Jumping right back to the case, you can see that it is designed to evoke the 2017 Montre Ecole, which was itself an homage to the first watch that Laurent Ferrier, the man, not the brand, built in school. It was his school watch, literally Montre Ecole. You can see that it has a less fluid form than the Galet case. Well, it does have the same sort of rounded pebble shape, generally speaking. The lugs are broken out more distinctly, creating the image of what might be called a pocket watch converted to a wristwatch. There are also domed cabochons on the outside to evoke the officer's style watch of the early 20th century. Patek is known for these, that often featured screw-fixed straps on welded-on lugs. There is a onion-style domed crown that is a pleasure to wind, and a dial that needs a little bit of explanation because there's a lot going on here. Okay, British Racing Green, that much is obvious, but it's a green lacquer, so it has a wonderful glossy, lustrous depth that's almost like enamel. The applique indices are white gold, as are the assegai or spear-shaped hands at center. There's a slightly recessed or countersunk sub-register for the seconds at 6 o'clock, and it has a silver metallic guilloche tinge to it. There's a little bit of a gran that runs around the periphery. It has a circular grain, and then outboard of the entire dial there is an old school white on green railroad track for the minutes. Laurent Ferrier at 12 o'clock with a double index. Turn it all over, and this is arguably the business end of any Laurent Ferrier watch, but with the British Racing Green dial, for once the dial gives the case back a run for its money. Still, the Laurent Ferrier FBN 229 movement is a stunner. 35 joules adjusted in a chronometer busting 6 positions rather than the COSC's 5. This is an automatic winder with a 3-day power reserve. It features a natural escapement, or it's inspired by the Breguet natural escapement. It is a double wheel direct impulse escapement that operates unlubricated. The wheels themselves are nickel phosphorus. The alternator that locks each wheel alternately is silicon, and it beats away at 21,600 vibrations per hour. It is free sprung, so it can take that precise 6-position adjustment and then hold it in the face of bumps and disruptions on the wrist. And then it also features an overcoil hairspring profile that allows it to keep excellent time in any orientation with respect to gravity. A few other details worth mentioning. You can see that the rotor is actually borne on a ratchet system. It uses a jeweled staff with a pawl-based ratchet so that it is super smooth. You can't feel it, you can't hear it. It also features a robustly cut winding mast that's a work of art in and of itself. And speaking of artistry, let's take a quick count of the interior angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at the very least, 4 of them inside the black polished and skeletonized half bridge for the balance itself. Black polish and interior angles, both the toughest assignments for a movement finisseur. You can see that this watch features both and in abundance. Black polished screw heads, black polished bridge for the rotor, all edges of all bridges, as well as jewel and screw countersinks, mirrored and beveled, chamfered with that rounded, optically smooth anglage made famous by Geneva watchmaking, of which Laurent Ferrier is a modern proponent and leader. Linear Côte de Genève laid down with abrasive wheels across the caliper. You could see that this is a movement that is a collaboration, FBN standing for the initials of the founders of La Fabrique du Temps, and of course Laurent Ferrier. They are jointly the fathers of this movement. Many parents, and all of them proud. This is an impressive timepiece executed in the tradition of Geneva and British racing. Start a new tradition on your wrist, on the Watchbox.